There's the record.
It looks like a bow.
And you're good.
That's what I was going for. Hey, Chels.
Hey, Stace.
You know what? Love isn't all you need. Have you ever tried using a roll of love in the bathroom? How'd that work out for you?
I probably would call someone to bring me not a roll of love.
Exactly. It's gonna be okay.
Play that track, Dave.
Why? You're so fabulous. Yeah, I'm single, ready to mingle. Yeah, I'm single. These are the reasons why I'm single.
Stacey,
Chelsea, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I am doing all right. Thank you for asking.
Of course. What's been going on with your week?
Top knot. That's what's been going on. This is like my last week of the top knot, like my straight blonde hair top knot. So I'm really just living my best life right now. So yes. But no, things are going okay. This is reasons why I'm single. What up, America and world? Not in that order because everyone's important all in the same time. Hopefully everyone is doing okay. Thank you for joining us last week and coming back again to see how we're doing. It has been I don't know what day it is still. This has been me for like the past year, so you know this.
You every Wednesday, you're like, once again, no idea what day it is, and yet she still maintains the ability to show up on time to an appointment, people. That's because she's amazing.
And I keep a very strict calendar. I'm like, oh, alerts, gotta be somewhere at a certain time. Here I am, not sure which one this is. Maybe I should research it, looks it up, people's faces pop up. Oh, I know which one this one is. It's great. Oh, my word. How are you, Chels?
Wow, that's like, you ever ask somebody how they are and then you just get the like deep sigh? Like that, I feel like that's what my just was like, you know, it's there's a reason people buy houses with two incomes. So
Girl.
And on a positive side, the state of Michigan has extended the stay-at-home order starting Friday, I believe, to 11 p.m. and with 50% occupancy, which means your girl is going back to host karaoke. So that's a little bit of financial relief on my end. So that's been a little bit better. It's interesting though, because so normally, guys, we wouldn't start karaoke until 9:30 because we'd go till 2. And so now it's gonna be
it's gonna be May.
sorry,
All that I do.
it's gonna be starting at 6:00 at night, so that it can go and the right amount of time, which is hilariously enough, like bars can't kick out underage people until at 9:30 because like technically where we do this is a bar and a restaurant. So it becomes just a bar after 9:30. So
I didn't know that.
Technically you could be 16 and come to karaoke on Saturday.
Come on.
Because like I start the show off with an F-bomb, but
well, don't do that then, Chelsea.
No, it's part of the whole thing. I choose to.
I know. That's why I'm saying you have a choice.
Yeah, but that's I'm kind of a jerk when I do karaoke and people actually really love it. So I gotta lean into my fan base.
All right, Sheryl Sandberg. Just gonna lean in. Oh my word. Also, I didn't know that minors had to get kicked out at that point. And also, I think it's kind of amazing because America, I don't know if you know this, but we're all getting older each passing day. So the fact that it started at 6 p.m., I'm like, well, that's great.
Like I could still get that is actually the thing that's been kind of nice about the bar closing at 10, because I went out for trivia and the bar closed at 10, and I talked to somebody in the parking lot for like a half hour, and then I went home and I was home by 11, and I was like, well, I could get a full night's sleep on this schedule.
Right? Did I just have a social life and get 7 hours of sleep?
Like, there is no FOMO when there's a 10 o'clock curfew.
Listen, kids. Listen, youths. This is what you have to look forward to.
I think I sent it to you, Stacy. There's this video going around of this girl, and she's like, she orders like wine, or so she buys wine at the grocery store, and the guy's like, yeah, can I just see your ID? She goes, yeah, no problem. It's in my wallet. Do you need me to take it out, or do you like, or anything? He goes, no. I can see the one, so it's fine. And she goes, the one? And he goes, yeah, the one at the beginning of your birth year. Because literally anybody who was born in the 1900s is going to be 21 because it's 2021. So literally, and then you see the, oh snap, except it's not snap. But
all I think of is Fergie, London Bridge. Oh snap!
yes, that's it. That's the thing they do at the end of it, because she's just like, and right when she's like, oh snap. But
Grey Goose, got your girl feeling loose. Now I'm wishing that you didn't wear the shoes.
Yep,
I
love my shoes.
Ditto. I never went, only one time in my life I went barefoot. And you want to know when that was? I worked a long shift at Victoria's Secret. What up? What up, Victoria's Secret?
Hey kids, back in the day, you couldn't work at Victoria's Secret and wear pajamas.
You couldn't wear your
You had to buy suits to work at Victoria's Secret.
black suits. Okay, like, and listen, we look like a sexy secret agent staff because we had everyone had an earpiece in, and we had like a cute little professional thing and some cute little shoes. Well, listen, your girl had found these shoes, and I shouldn't have been wearing them, long story short. And my feet were killing me because they were a stiletto, and it was a cheap pair of shoes because I was still in college. So, they weren't made for comfort. So I was like shuffling, going out, like walking through the mall, out of the Macy's to get to my car. And by the time I got to the parking lot, I was like, forget this. And I took the heels off. I was like, I can't do it anymore. This is the only time I've ever taken my shoes off. I don't care if I was at a bar, at a club, at a wedding. And I usually wore tall heels to the point where I would go out, and if I wore flat shoes or like flip flops, someone would say, you can't dance. I'm like, I know, my shoes are flat. I need to be,
I can't do nothing for me, baby.
Right? I needed to be recalibrated in a nice stiletto. So that was the only time I ever took my shoes off. Only time.
I would bring a change of shoes. I was never the barefoot girl, but like at weddings, I would bring a change of shoes. I do. I bring those little like fold up like flats that you just slap on. You can put them in your clutch. I freaking love them. And dude, because it's someone's bachelorette party, like no one had ever heard of them, and I brought them. So then, of course, I stayed sober because I don't trust anyone to take care of anything. And so I'm escorting like. That is such a definitive statement. Like, because I don't trust anyone to take care of anything.
Listen. Therapy is great, and I'm working through my problems right now. So
my husband's gonna be like, I don't really do much because you're gonna be like, yeah, you don't do anything because you do it wrong.
See, that's exactly why I need to figure this out now. So I'm not just like, listen, I know you said you're going to take the trash out, but I asked you an hour and 17 minutes ago when I needed it taken out. So don't worry, I already took it out. Like, it's not cool. Then dude's gonna have a nagging wife, and I don't want to be that. I want to be the cool, sexy person he wants to come home, who's always in a good mood. I'm figuring it out. Anyways, let me. So in this specific scenario, I did not trust anyone in this group of girls to take care of the group. I knew I was the responsible one, to the point where the groom of the bride to be was just like, wait a minute, you're going on the trip? Oh God, that makes me feel so much better. I'm like, so no, your bride and all her friends are a bunch of crazy people. So like I'm ushering them all out of whatever club we were at, and they're all drunk and they're limping and they're shuffling in their heels because we never took off our shoes. But I brought my cute little like fold up ballet flats, so I put them on. And at one point, I was actually doing the moonwalk around them, like my feet don't hurt, and like they're like, "We hate you." I said, "Do you hate me? How you gonna get back to the hotel? Huh? How you gonna get there?" They're like, "That means me to just tell us where to buy them tomorrow." Ah.
Great.
Yes. I love that. Listen, I love that Chelsea's doing her hair. Well, she's doing a braid out, which, oh, I haven't done a braid out in so long, but she just took her braids out, which looks super cute, by the way. And now she's got these nice waves in her hair. Yes.
Thanks. That's so sweet.
Oh, so hey, should we take care of some business?
Sure. It's time for the
Fake name series of the day. So the fake name series of the day is what we use to save the shade. So instead of using people's real names, we use names that are from the fake name series of the day to hide their identities. But if they heard these stories,
I know who they are.
you can see Chelsea at the bar. Which one? The one with karaoke. So we are doing the same show that we did last week, which is Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, because we used maybe 1.5 names.
Yeah.
We'll round it up to 2. So Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist is after an unusual event, a whip-smart computer coder magically begins to hear people's innermost wants and desires through popular songs.
It's fantastic. I recommend.
I know that's going to be next on my list. I'm still having fun with the Mindy project.
Do you know what I started watching that someone recommended to me that I've never seen before, and I am shook?
No, I don't. But now that I know that you're shook, now I need to know.
It is a show called Married at First Sight.
Girl, listen, you just took my VWQ.
So somebody's watching it, and they were with me at the bar, and they were like, "You have to watch it." Well, I can't watch the season that's on now, so I looked on Hulu, and it doesn't have all of the seasons, but it does have like 5 of the seasons or something like that. So I flew through the first season available, which I believe is season 4, and I was like, I just gotta know, are they gonna stay together? Are they gonna break up? And the one girl was like crazy. But also, if anything, that doesn't prove to me, like this one girl, so the premise of the show is essentially these people go through 5 months of meetings with a pastor and a marriage counselor, a relationship expert, and a sociologist who sees how people relate to each other. And these 3 people match people up, and they match them not like, this is, give me a guy name. Sorry, random guy name.
Mo.
This is Mo, and he lives in California. And this is, I need a girl name.
Zoe.
And this is Zoe, and she lives in Michigan. Like, you guys are going to get married, and then you're going to have to deal with the fact that you live on the other sides of the country. No, they base it each season off of one like hub city. So there's like one where it's just Washington, D.C., one where it's just Atlanta. The one that I'm currently watching right now is Chicago, which is still a really big area, but at least it's not plane rides away. But the first one I watched was in Miami. That was season 4. And this girl,
Bienvenido, Ami. Thanks, Will Smith.
girl whose job is the flight attendant, she gets matched up with this guy who, I can't remember what he did, but he used to be in the Navy, and then he got out, and they just want to get married anyways. So they see each other, and he is like feeling her the second she walks out, and she was having anxiety about it like the whole day. She's like, maybe I need to just not do this, da 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 da. And which is a valid worry. Like that
would be me.
They give each other a gift right before they go out, and one of the grooms got the girl, it literally said on the front, socks for cold feet. So like,
oh,
right, like cute, like they know what's going on. But so they get married and he's like, and then once they're married, they do wedding photos where the photographer's like, kiss, 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 kiss. And she's like, I don't understand why we have to kiss so much. Like, I just met this person. And so there's clearly like zero attraction on her end. And he's a good looking guy. Like, they flat out even said in the beforehand, they were like, we think they're gonna get along, especially because they're both what each other described as their type. Well,
Mm.
what it turned out, I mean, I would say spoiler, but there's several seasons, and this is like season 4. They go on the
And I
honeymoon.
don't know which couple.
They go on the honeymoon, and she starts nitpicking everything because she doesn't like him anyway. She wasn't attracted to him, and she already feels like she's
Oh.
gonna regret it. So she's already put the towel in, and now she's going to take little things and turn them into big things so that she can justify leaving. So she now it was funny because the sociologist, the doctor, she was like, Zoe made this point to say that she was fine with someone who occasionally smoked. And so then in her interviews, she's like, I guess everybody just has a different word description for the word occasionally because we're on vacation and he has had a cigarette every day. He's had one cigarette every day. And
I
that
don't
is
think that's a lot.
and she was like, and that is way more than occasional, mind you. Like, people who are actually like addicted to cigarettes need more than one a day. Like, so, and she didn't bring it up to him. She let it stew until she was mad. And then when she did bring it up to him, she was like, this is an extreme concern, an extreme concern. And then he was like, okay, well, I hear you, but like, this isn't indicative of me in a normal day. We're on vacation. I hear you. I'm not going to do it anymore. And from that moment on, he had stopped, and she just kept harping on it. So then the next day, they like try to go out, and he tried to hold her hand, and she was like, I just don't like to be touched at all. Well, then they went to go like on a surfing excursion, and she's like holding the surfing instructor's hand. And like she said, oh, I hate bugs. I hate everything to do with bugs. And the surfing instructor had a bug on his chest. And instead of like, and she like brushed it off of him and all this stuff. So now you got this guy who clearly, like, he's your husband. He's watching you have physical interactions with an actual stranger, even though like slightly less of a stranger than he is. And he's getting mad. And then he said some stuff and she said some stuff. And as soon as he said it, I was like, you better hope you guys don't get married, because if you're still married, what you just said is going to break you up. Like, so he was 35, I think, and she was 32. And he sat there and he was like, I guess my wife's just, and it's in an interview, so she's not there anymore because they had a huge blowout where she brought out the cigarettes again. And then she said, you're being a child. And because she doesn't like him, she wants the excuse to justify her feelings.
Right.
Doesn't want to admit that she's not attracted to him, and that's why she wants to leave. So she's creating drama so that she can justify her leaving through that. But so now he's mad because he's like, you're not even, you said it. I didn't have a cigarette since then. Like, we can't keep going like this. You gotta like,
I thought we squashed this bug.
So then he sits there after the fight and he's in an interview with a producer, and he turns to the camera and he goes, I guess my wife's just not attracted to me. I don't know who she was expecting, some George Clooney looking guy or whatever, but you know what they say, men age like wine and women age like milk. She's 32. It's kind of sour over there.
What?
And I was like, and at this point, you don't know if they're gonna break up or not. And I was like, I hope you break up, because if she sees that on TV, you're a dead man. Like,
And you're going to be paying for a ton of Botox because you made her feel so insecure for the rest of her life if you were to get married.
And it was so funny because like then they came back from the honeymoon where they had like barely touched or anything, and like they slept in the same bed because literally producers told them they had to.
You signed a contract.
Yeah.
No sheep.
And then it was like, so then they come back from the honeymoon. They've literally been married a week. And she's like, I need time. And he's like, Pastor Cal's like, you need to decide if you're going to be married to this person or you're going to get a divorce. Because this was legal. This wasn't a TV marriage. If you're getting a divorce, you have to get an actual divorce. And he's like, and she goes, I need time to think about it, because she doesn't want to make it seem like she's already made up her mind, even though everybody can see that. So she waits a week and then they come back together and she's like, I can't do that. I do not want to continue in this process with you for my sake. Like, I can't forgive what happened. And I'm thinking, you don't
Oh,
even know any stuff he said. Like, she just made up her mind. She wasn't happy. And yeah.
wow.
Anyway, so shockingly, they did get a divorce and it was very early on. And then they did this interesting thing where they like continually like checked in on them to see how they were doing. And dude, Mo Ding, he was like still wearing his wedding ring and like going out with his friends. And he was like, well, I don't think I should take it off until I'm actually divorced because I'm married. And I was like, snap, man. And like all the doctors were like, we feel so bad because he really wanted to make an effort for this. And she just wasn't having it on her end. It really had nothing to do with him besides the fact that she made the decision that that wasn't what she wanted. But so then the doctors were like, this is why it's so clear. This is why we do 5 months of an interview processes, because if at that point, if you've lied after 5 months, you're not lying to us. You've been lying to yourself this whole time. So if it doesn't work out because of something that you said was fine, because an occasional cigarette's fine. She literally even said she thinks an occasional cigarette is like once at a wedding a year. And I was like, oh, honey, that's a non-smoker who got drunk. What are you talking about?
I was gonna say that was my smoking period in college. I drink now, so I smoke. And after a month and a half, I said, let me stop before I actually have a habit.
Right.
Oh my word. And
I am now on the next season. I did Google after because 2 of the couples did choose to stay together, and I was like, are they still? And neither of them are.
oh,
So I was
first
a
of
little
all,
bummed.
shouts to this one's Married at First Sight, correct?
At first sight, yeah.
Okay, so shouts to them and Love is Blind because they pick a specific city, so they have people within that hub. I think that's brilliant. So I have not watched Married at First Sight. I've seen maybe like one episode of like one season. It was like I saw my mom watching it. I was like, what is this? But so the current season that's out now, before I started my social media fast,
this is the reason I started watching it. It's crazy because my friend told me about it at the bar, and I was like, I gotta see what the show's about.
Right. So I do want to see what the most recent season is about, because a lot of people, especially people that I met from church, were saying that the most recent season, they're like, this is the quintessential toxic guy that all of us women have met at church. And I was like, T, do tell. And so I've seen stuff that they've posted about it, about how this guy is just like, I'm just looking for love and all this other stuff. And then you get to know him. He's just like, what I do know is that this woman better do A, B, C, and D for me because I'm a man and all this other stuff. And it's just like, get the heck out of here. No one has time for that.
Well, legitimately, I don't know because there's always 3 couples, so I don't know if it's the same one, but this same season, this is what my friend gave me. I guess they got married at first sight, they went on their honeymoon, and then it came out that he was recently previously engaged.
Yes!
And then this girl shows up and it's his ex-fiance, and she's 6 weeks pregnant.
What?
Some math that doesn't work there. So what she told me was last week's like update, or which is probably like 2 weeks ago now because of time, and is the fact that now he just told this girl who's his wife, who's trying to work through this, because she's like, obviously you can't abandon your child because of the timing of this, but like, so we'll figure it out. It's another thing we'll have to figure out, but we'll figure it out. So now I guess he just came up to his wife and said him and his ex want to be a family together.
Piece of potato.
Where I want to be like, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know because here's the thing. It's not like you want to be with somebody who doesn't want you. Nobody wants that,
Right.
you want someone who I want you to want me. I need you to need me. I love you to love me. Cheap Trick. And
I only know that song because of 10 Things I Hate About You, the movie.
great jam. So like but it's so funny because I'm like, so it's like it's not like she wants to stick around. I do not know this season at all, but what my friend said. But it's not like if somebody came up to me and was like, oh my gosh, I am married to you and I want to be this committed to you, but my ex is pregnant, then yeah, okay, well then this is another hurdle. Who knows? We'll see how it goes and take it day to day.
But
But like, but then if he says, oh yeah, no, you know what? I tried with you for a couple of weeks, but now I've decided that I want to be a family with this other girl. I mean, you already were engaged to her. But also don't let me hold you back, I guess. Bye.
and also we don't know the background of it. So it's like they were engaged, they broke up, or did they? So then it's like he basically rebounded with a marriage.
But that's the crazy thing, Stacey. If you think about it, he was doing the interview process
For 5 months. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. Terrible. Gosh.
And then
Oh.
so then she's like 6 weeks pregnant, and
Number
yeah.
one, if you've ever watched the show The Game, similar plot twists happen in there. Enjoy that. Also enjoy Derwin's body.
But that's
God
like
bless it.
right?
What'd you say?
Scripted, right? That's not.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Scripted
Okay.
television show. Yes. But which just goes to show, kids, the things that you see on TV, some of them are inspired by real life events. Second of all, I had a second of all. What was the second of all going to be? I don't know, but I'm mad.
So the season that I'm currently watching is there's a very, very religious person who made the choice to not have sex for like 4 years, and then she was 30, and then they found her husband, who's also like very spiritual and in his church and all this stuff, but he's 25, and she's a little crazy too, like it.
I heard about that one. Don't tell me too much because I do want to watch that
Yeah,
one.
and then but she's like, he got mad at her because she was in a bad mood because they were playing ping pong, and he got crazy competitive, and which some guys are, and she was like,
I was gonna say like Chelsea competitive.
she's like, I'm just good at this. Why can't it just be, hey, my wife is good at this? Why is it got to be, let's play again until I beat you? Like, it doesn't have to why it doesn't have to go there. And then she's like, it's 1-1 and I'm done. And he goes, no, I need to beat you one more time so that I win. And she's like, I'm done. She completely shuts down. They go walking to go to have lunch, and he goes, give me your hand. And she goes, I don't want to. And he's like, you're still my wife. And she's like, well, I'm your wife who doesn't want to hold your hand right now. He throws a whole fit, and he's like, this is in like the second episode, so I promise I'm not ruining anything. He throws a whole fit, and I guess off camera says to her, why did I even do this? I don't even want to be married to you. And yeah, seriously. So then she goes upstairs, and they've already consummated their marriage.
Oh, they
And
did.
yeah, they consummated it on the first night of the honeymoon. And so she's like, it was actually really, really funny because she was like, I've never had an orgasm before, but we consummated the marriage last night, and I've still never had an orgasm.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, but that's what you get with a 25-year-old man. You got to get them when they like want to put in the effort to make sure you're having a good time too. But also she seems like she's not in great headspace, but they ended up pushing through that because they sat down for
Literally.
dinner. They sat down for dinner, and she was like, I don't even want to be here with you. And she starts like ugly crying. It is a lot of tears. And he's just sitting there like, tissue, I don't know what to say to you. And then he says, and then they flash to the pastor Cal, and he's like, the strength of this couple is their faith. That's what's gonna help them become better and stronger and grow in love. They love that phrase, grow in love. It's very, they say it enough that I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. So
Right? And I really want to know, this is why I need to watch it, number one, period. And number two, like the most recent season, because I'm wondering the psychology behind it. Because like from the two examples that you gave, you have these new couples that spent 5 months like getting like going through interviews and getting paired up with people just to get together. And then you see these nitpicky fights. So I'm curious to find out if all of them, don't tell me, if all of them are having these fights, because it's like, it's your wedding. Like, this is huge. And usually there is a decent amount of history going into this. Like, whether you've been like engaged for 2 years or 2 weeks, to be quite honest, or like dating for 2 years or 2 weeks. I've seen both ends of the spectrum work, but there is some type, like, the person in some capacity to go into a marriage to be like, okay, like, oh yeah, I've seen hints of this. This is what they do. Okay. But the fact that both of them don't know how the other one reacts in certain things, and there's just nitpicky things, and they're just kind of lashing out at the littlest things, that's crazy. And do you mind? Can we sneak in a VWQ real quick? Can we? Because
I want to finish it. They ended up
Okay.
making the decision together that they were going to pray together every night as a couple. And like from the day that they did that, there was like a big flip switch. And then he literally like slides in, oh yeah, by the way, my brother needs to live with us because he's 17 and he lives with me now. Thanks, bye. Like, but they thought it was going to be this big deal. And she was like, listen, if I had the money and I had a big mansion, my parents could live on one wing while we lived on the other. I love family, and you're taking care of your brother. You're doing a great thing. He's my family now too. It was very sweet. But I don't know.
won't he do it? Thank you, Lord.
I don't know.
Do it, won't he? Will. Oh, so I'm pretty sure you can guess what my question is, but it's time for
Virgin with questions. Stacy is a virgin,
by choice,
and sometimes she has questions.
like all the time. So, married at first sight, Chels, would you do it?
I mean, okay, so I, with my entire vast knowledge of 1.5 seasons, to compare it.
Of 1.5 seasons.
No, just like 1.5 seasons.
Okay.
I would, okay,
It's tough.
I would like to think that maybe I would be interested to go through the process.
Mhm.
And like have people meet and have people go through all this and then just see, but the thing is as soon as you sign up for that process, if they find you a match, you're getting married. So like, but on the flip side of that, I've always said it, like my grandpa said it to me before he died. He said, I'm the kind of person who it's not going to be a long engagement. I'm not going to do that. If I meet somebody, I'm going to be like, I want my life to start tomorrow. So let's do this. Like, and everybody's going to say I'm crazy. And I'm going to be like, cool. Tell me that in 50 years when my dude's next to me. Like, so it's, I don't know. I feel like it could be, I know that without knowing who, I know that some of the couples in this show have actually made it through and are married. But like every marriage is work. This is just a different kind of work. I think my family would think I was nuts. but if I went through the process and I really felt confident in it, then yeah, I probably would. Wow, I don't think I expected that. I think I just talked myself into it.
I mean, shoot, even like when we watched Love is Blind, and it's like they've just been gone and they have their phones taken away. They find their match, they're engaged, go on a honeymoon. Okay, we got to go back home now. Hey, bestie, let's have our girls' night. Pre-COVID. By the way, I'm engaged and I'm getting married in a month. Like, it's crazy.
I think of the two, I would rather do Love is Blind because there's the option to not. But on the flip side, that's the interesting side of Married at First Sight, because you are kind of putting that, I've always said it, if I got married, even if I got married and it ended in a divorce, then I would be a divorcee who just lived by herself, because I don't want to do it a bunch of times. And like I haven't made it to 35 and single just to like get married and then get divorced and then get married and then get divorced. That's not what's happening. So
Nope.
like I at that point, if it didn't work, I'd probably just be like, okay, that's fine. Maybe I'm just not gonna get married again. So, but it is
Right?
nice that like the finality of it, like whereas Love is Blind is kind of based off of only attraction and what you choose to say, you have experts that are kind of like hollowing you down to your core and then putting you with someone. There's a reason they put you with it. And if you need to put the work in to make the rest of the stuff work, the I don't want to like the finality and the lock of marriage might be the inspiration to force people, myself included, who haven't really done anything like that kind of commitment before to get there, you know? I don't know. What about you, Stace? Would you do it? I literally am shocked that I said yeah.
Well, first of all, well done. And we share a similar perspective with, like you said, the finality of it. Because the way I am and the way I've been with any relationship is that I'm going to give it my all, do whatever I can to aid the partner that I'm with. So at the end of the day, you will not be able to say that I didn't try, because I absolutely do. So with at Married at First Sight, it freaks me out because I would be having sex with a stranger. Like that makes my mind go tilt. That would be the hardest thing for me, because I have no history with this person and I don't know, they could be a jerk after the fact. But if that man is my husband and I'm his wife, heck yeah, we should be having sex. But that would be a hard mental hurdle for me to get over. So I had someone tell me before about the girl and the guy that you were talking about and how that she was waiting until marriage, but then she also had some things she needed to work over. But yeah, that would be tough. But same points that you said. I like that they have a panel of experts, especially a pastor. I really appreciate that, to help you through, like to really counsel you through this. And it's like, instead of doing like premarital counseling, like as a couple, you're doing it as individuals and hoping like you end up being like still a solidified couple. With Love is Blind, I would definitely be more open to that, like you said, because I can say no, but still I would feel bad because they go on like the romantic vacation afterward. But also when in the booths, like I guess you should discuss that, which is my issue with the one dude that didn't tell her that he used to
Yeah.
be in relationships with men. It was like, I feel like that's something that should have come up, but at the same time, that's tough because I don't know how to go about navigating.
Allowed to like self-edit. Like, I mean, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. So I I was mad at the way he was acting, but I couldn't be mad at him, though I was in the moment.
Oh, I was
Like with right, with not saying that at first, because that was a big gamble. But the fact that he put it, like he was freaking out, he put it out there and then he just trashed her after that. I was like, that's rude. Like, you knew that you were in the wrong if you were this emotional about it.
Mhm.
But and also my biggest fear is what you described, is that I would hate if someone like was in a relationship, broke up, and then immediately got immersed into this experience. So then they ended up with a rebound relationship. That would break. So I can't even imagine if it was me who had waited to get married, got paired up with that person, and did everything I could to be a good wife to them, and it still wasn't good enough, and I end up divorced,
And
and I had
and
yes, and I waited to have sex with this person who at the end of the day didn't care. That's why I couldn't do it, because I couldn't.
that's valid. I think also the hardest part that I've watched so far is watching someone legitimately try and then the other person stonewall them and just shut down. And you're like, whoa, I'm putting myself out there. Like, I'm here for the right reasons. But on the flip side, I have seen people who I don't know yet because I haven't finished the season, who I actually think are gonna end up together. So that's there's one actually from Michigan on the season. like very close to us, Michigan, like Shelby Township.
Maybe we know her. No, or him.
Him,
Um,
him. But
ooh. But yeah, that's just I couldn't, yeah, I can't see myself rebounding from that, because legit, like, that would be the pinnacle of me giving myself entirely to someone. And for me to do that and then have it not matter, I don't
totally.
want to take that risk.
Well, and that's also on the flip side of like, I don't want you to take this as like you being like, but in that choice, you are very much a traditionalist.
Yes,
And like
agreed.
for you to have this like traditionalist mindset in this hand, and then to do something that is so atypical of that, the juxtaposition of those two things, they just don't mesh. Like, I mean, I'm not a virgin, hashtag sorry dad. And
What?
like, so but I still think that if I were there, and they do actually make it really like clear, some couples, most couples don't consummate the marriage on the wedding night. Like they wait
Right.
until they're on the honeymoon, and some of them don't even wait until after while they're on the honeymoon, they wait until after. So it's really, and they're like, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a huge trust game. And like, yes, this is your partner and you want to give to them wholly, but also you want to make sure that they're going to be there, you know? So it is interesting, especially listening to the experts, even in their little like internal asides, because there are things that I have done in relationships that they're calling out as relationship killers. And I'm like, ooh, I got to check myself a little bit, because I do have a tendency to like make, like if I know that I am right, if I know that I'm correct, welcome to the hill I die on. We're going to go. Like, you won't even know what happened, but I have charts and
If you see me here in this diagram, the red section.
if you turn to page 3 in your portfolio that I've prepared, you open it and it just says you're stupid. Now,
I was telling my dad, he goes, "You say you're stupid a lot." I was like, "'Cause people are stupid." I was like, "Dad, I'm sorry." I'm like, "I say you're stupid because that is my initial reaction to something that I think is dumb. The person inherently is not stupid, just their action was in that moment. But you're right, it does come off as harsh when I say you're stupid." So I need
Stacey
to work
calls
on
me
that.
stupid a lot, guys. I don't take it like
I
that.
call a lot of like it's just my default thing, and I need to work on that. It's
Sometimes
not healthy.
she's just amused with me, but I surprised her, and so she'll be like, "You're stupid," like. But it is.
Gotta
I
do
mean,
better.
I could see how other people would take it as something else, but yeah, it's. But mind you, on the flip side of that, like I would rather have a hyper commitment show like that rather than something like The Bachelorette or like that kind of, or The Bachelor, right?
Right.
Because I am too invested in a relationship from the get go. Like I do put my heart rate there on my sleeve, and so that I think that if I were in a competition for someone's heart, I would be hurt way too quickly and way too like, and then I would
Ditto.
show the psycho side. Like everybody's got a psycho side. You just have to find somebody who wants to deal with it. Like,
They say I'm crazy. I got you crazy. That's by the poet Britney Spears.
but like
No, I feel you. And that's where I go, this is stupid or this is dumb comes from. I cannot imagine wanting to battle another person, let alone a fleet of women for the same guy.
person. And also, how is that person supposed to develop actual feelings for each individual person on the show? Even if you get it down to 2, you're telling me you have 2. And what if they're completely acting like different people in each scenario that they're in? It's like, it's just this weird game that feels that like I don't find it entertaining. So when people are like, and Bachelor Nation, please do not come for me. But
Or me. I tried. I watched the first
I
episode and half of the second episode. I was like, I can't do it.
find it entertaining. I don't. I think that I think it's kind of a mockery of love. And I think that these girls that they get on there who are 23 and they think that they're ready for like a relationship, and it's like,
I'm like, B, you better live your life. Go get drunk at a bar after COVID done.
I mean, even just like, let's go, like, go take a pottery class, figure out who you are as a person solo. I think that's like, not to put my brother on blast, but like, that's his biggest problem in relationships. He's always been in one. He's literally, like, since we were in high school, he's never been just him. And so then you sit there and like, he's a very much people pleasing kind of person, which sounds great until you realize that you're not even being yourself because you've been so people pleasing.
That's me.
It's
Not
that,
the relationship part, but people
no, but
pleasing.
even that, like Stacey sometimes, like especially around like certain groups of people, you see a switch flip in Stacey, and she's like not even her this effervescent beauty that you see right now, and
Yes.
only because it's the truth.
Good lighting. See?
But it's honestly, it's like she puts herself on dim for other people, and it's like, no, you don't need that. You need somebody who's just going to be like, honey, shine, turn that
Honey
up.
Shine. Also, speaking of Honey Shine, I think it was MAC Cosmetics that had like a honey line, like in the like, I don't know, 2008, 9, something like that. I just remember because I was interning at a magazine and we got them to put advertisement in the magazine, and it was the honey line, and I was like, that seems sticky.
that seems sticky. I don't like it.
All right. How does it come off your face? It was
Now,
honey.
mind you, I do think that there's actually some premise for some kind of show regarding like same kind of thing with like experts and exes, where like you took two people who maybe missed their window, and
Oh,
and then you got experts to kind of, and you put them in that situation, and you're like, you're engaged now you have to tell your families, you've spent all this time talking trash about him to your friends, now you got to go tell your friends you're engaged, and then you're going to keep doing these things, and then at the end of a month or the end of 6 weeks or whatever, you're getting married, and you got to see if you're actually going to say yes to this person who maybe, like, I don't know, I'm spitballing, but I actually think that would be a really good chance because there's lots of previous drama that you could feed off of, and then be like, yeah, no, sure, great. And then you have to deal
whoa.
with underlying issues and see how you learn to forgive from those. That could be a really good show.
Man, I have a friend, Emily, bing. And so she had mentioned how, so like her and her ex, Mitch, they had like a big falling out. They were never a great pairing, let's be honest. Like the wine, the steak, they were never paired correctly. So they break up, but dealing with the aftermath of all of that, because there's just a lot, like the families were close, it was a whole thing. And so we're talking years down the line, like maybe 10 years down the line. They reconnect because they still like ran in the same kind of circles,
Right.
same circle. So they're cordial, doing much better, very mature on both ends. And I was talking to Emily, bing, and she had made the comment, wow, what would you do if Mitch and I got back together and got married? And she'd text me. So I just had to put like my phone down because I'm like, I need to take a minute because I'm not going to give the right response right off the bat. So I gave myself like 5 minutes. So then I responded. I was like, at the end of the day, it's about you and Mitch and you two being happy together. With that said, the narrative that you both have set about each other, you have to confront that because you put that out to everyone in our circle.
It's so true. There's actually a really good point about that Pastor Cal brings up to one of the couples, and he's like, if you have a problem within your relationship, and this is something where I'm like, oh my God, I've done this even in bad relationships, but where he goes, you have to keep it within your relationship, because even if you two work past it, any person that you tell is stuck at that point in the timeline. So you've moved past it. You guys are years back, but then every time you bring up that person, they think of the time that they treated you wrong all the way back there. So he's like, keep. And I remember, because I was dating this guy, I need a name.
David.
I was dating David in college, and I'm going to just straight up say David was no good for me, but I digress. But I was dating him, and I told my roommates I need 2 girls' names.
Jessica and Joan.
So Jessica knew, great. Jessica and Joan, I told them everything. I told them the good, the bad, the ugly, the not even like kind of pretty. And then whenever I would go back to him, because David and I had worked it out, they would call me stupid, and they'd be like, I can't believe you deal with this. He's a monster. How do you not realize this? And I was like, I sabotaged any chance they had to see me in a good light. Another example of this is a college friend of mine. I need a guy name.
George.
My friend George, great guy, amazing guy. He was dating this girl in high school, and she cheated on him. What's her name?
Autumn.
So Autumn cheated on George, and they break up. Basically, from what he described to us, was George said that Autumn wanted to have sex. George was waiting till marriage. So Autumn went and had sex. Yeah. So
My biggest fear.
valid, right? So we are all like, how dare she? Well, then at the end of our sophomore year, maybe the end of our freshman year, George tells us all that he's getting back together with Autumn. And we're like,
What the heck, George?
Like, that whore. Why? She doesn't deserve you. She doesn't deserve this good thing. And it took us as a collective friend group years. We went to the wedding and we were like, she's probably going to cheat. I mean, like, legitimately, it stuck with us, because he spent 7 months telling us that how dirty she'd done him. So then we were like, not my friend. Nuh-uh. Never again. And then they got married, and you know what? They are together. They are very happily married. They have kids, and obviously there's struggles that come with a marriage and all of that stuff, but they work through it together. And it is, sometimes I still go to that default, and I have to intentionally choose to not see that side of Autumn, because anytime he has a rough moment and he'll kind of like vent a little, I'm like, well, that's shocking because of what happened when you were in high school. And then I hear myself say it, and I'm like, okay, Chelsea, calm down. We're all adults.
Listen, because even like when I've seen people, just like platonic friends from high school, and they're like, oh my gosh, Stacey, remember when you were with that one guy? And I'm like, first of all, how many years ago? Like, why the heck do you even associate that with me still? But they have that ingrained in their brain, and that's the last memory that they have, like within a certain circle. And I'm just thinking, this is not fair, but also this is the narrative that they knew about the two of us. So even when I went to a wedding what was it? The guy I was dating, it was his best friend's brother. They got married, but their families were close. So we went to the wedding, and no joke, the pastor that was marrying them at one point, like he had done their premarital counseling for the couple that was getting married. And he's telling them, you are to support her. She is to support you. And he said, and nothing should come between you. Do not let outsiders in, not even your mother, not even your father. What you all do is between the two of you. Do I make myself clear? And I'm like, oh, like I never thought of it that way before. And I thought it was a bit heavy for a wedding, but after the fact, the more I thought about it, I realized how true that was.
A friend of mine, I need a guy name.
Roger
made a really stupid decision and cheated on his wife. And the second I found out, I told him to effing end whatever he had on the side because that's not how you want to go out. I'm like, the second that you become the cheater, everything else goes away. And now it's just that you cheated. So you don't get to do like she pushed me to it. She did blah, 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 blah. You cheated. You end it right now. And he looked me in the face and he was like, do you think my marriage was actually salvageable? And mind you, he had spent months of telling me, venting to me about his wife, and venting to my parents about his wife, and venting to his parents about his wife. And all these people knew how terrible he was, such a victim in this situation. And I looked him dead in the face and I said, if you had kept this in your marriage and talked to your wife instead of everybody else, maybe your marriage wouldn't be ending. And I'm like, but you're already cheating. So the best thing you can do is end it now, whatever he had on the side.
Great. Like,
that isn't what ended up happening. It ended up being a lot uglier than that. But
reminders, people, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. And also, if couples went to therapy, like, then it stays between the two of you. Like, you have an unbiased, licensed professional helping you to solve your problem instead of you running your mouth to your respective sides of the family that are now feuding with each other. Even after you two have come together, they're all like, oh, well, your piece of crap son, let me tell you about your trash daughter. You just created this whole storm that
because you wanted
to be a rainy day.
Because you didn't want somebody to tell you how to fix it. You wanted somebody to tell you you were right.
In the words of the poets, Danny D. Kane, how you gonna fix it, fix it, fix it. How you gonna fix it, fix it, fix it. How you gonna fix it, fix it, fix it. We love you, America. And we love you because you love us too.
Fun Chelsea's house update. I was going through boxes and legitimately I sent Stacey a picture because we just talked about this on the show. Like maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And I opened these boxes, and mind you, these boxes have not come. They came out of my parents' spaces. They came from my apartment in college. But there's a bunch of boxes that haven't been opened in anywhere from 15 to 17 years. So, which hurts me physically, by the way.
Girl, who you telling? Because I'm going through the same thing right now.
I'm opening boxes and all this stuff. And I open this one and I look and I was like, I did not keep this. And I pull it out and it's the bumblebee that I got as a gift for my first kiss. And I was like, picture, sends to Stacey.
And not gonna lie, I was in bed. I remember I looked at it briefly, I was like, I'll dress it tomorrow morning. Because I wasn't sure. I was like, oh, someone got something cute. And I wake up and so went straight into work and some other stuff. I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh. Wait, no, I have to share as we wrap up what I said to you to do. Oh my gosh. So yeah, she sends me the picture and I said, yeah, I have to go through my stuff this weekend and purge stuff. And my boss's wife was saying there's a book on organizing where you have to ask yourself, does it make you happy, to determine what items to keep or to purge? And Chelsea's like, yeah, what brings you joy? It's the whole thing. I said, yeah, I'm about to toss everything. Does it bring you joy? No! I hate I'm working out my anger.
But yeah, so I'm going through old stuff. I found our senior year, all 3 of my years of high school reunion of books, and our senior year where my name's spelled wrong in almost all of it, and then a picture of Stacey getting the crown, and then literally the quote next to it's like, I couldn't believe it. All the girls are so nice, and me, a nerd. And
I'm a great liar. Because some people were not very nice. But I'm like, you know what? You're not going to have me going down throwing shade forever, printed in a yearbook.
Printed in a book. Yeah, no kidding. Listen, guys, I have so much fun with you always. This is like it's my open public to the, it's like a live journal. It's my open,
whoa, youths, look that up.
Diary. Youths live journal. Look it up. Thank you guys as always for listening in. Be sure to check us out on our socials at RWIS Podcast for Instagram and Twitter, and Reasons Why I'm Single right here on Facebook if you're listening live. Also, if you're listening live, you get to listen to the show almost a full week early. So you know what's happening in our lives before the rest of the world does. Aren't you so lucky? Also,
You are.
please tell me what your favorite season of Married at First Sight is so I can like jump around and watch those because that's the beauty of a reality show. It doesn't matter. I can skip around.
Frolic. Oh, thank you so much, as always, to Podcast Detroit that makes all of this possible. I'm Stacy.
I'm Chelsea.
This is Reasons Why I'm Single. We'll see you next week. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Why?